Hey guys, Hounddoomed here, coming at you once again with another episode of Pokémon Black 2. On the last episode, we explored the Relic Passage as well as the Relic Castle to the south of Driftvale City. On this episode, we're going to be heading west out of Driftvale City onto Route 6. To any viewers watching at the moment, again we have the issue of me not uploading very recently. But yeah, I mean, it's fair to say that Shaking Grass, not going to bother. It's fair to say that, well, okay, I'll give you the lowdown. Lately, my charger port on my computer is broken, and it won't charge unless it's in a certain place. So, I'm hoping to get that fixed soon. But what I'm deciding to do is, at the moment, I've got myself into a position where I can hold it into the charger port, so it's charging. The point is that without the charger being in there, this is unbelievably slow. This is like unbearably slow. It's not even worth recording at that point. So what I think we're going to do is, because I've got this set up and it's running fine, I think we're gonna, well, it seems to be running fine anyway. I've done a few test recordings. What I think we'll do is I'm gonna basically back up a lot of recordings. Part 23 and 24 are already recorded and they're fairly fine. There's a few lag issues on 23, but it should be fine. And then I'm gonna record onwards from 25 and you know, see where I can go, because I need to get as much done so that in case something else happens, I have things pre-recorded. Emerald is fine. I have been a bit lazy recently, which is why I gave you a showdown episode last Sunday, and you'll get another one tomorrow as well. Alright, so I'm actually going to do the Pokemon reviews here. I just wanted to kind of split it up slightly because this episode isn't going to be too long. There's also a Hidden Grotto here, but I will review that in just a second, and the Pokemon you can find there. But yeah, as for right now, we're going to do the Pokemon reviews for Route 6. See you in a bit. One of the new Pokemon you can find on Route 6 is Deerling. Deerling is a normal grass type and can have the ability Chlorophyll or Sap Sipper, with Serene Grace as a hidden ability. It can be found on Route 6 and 7 in all 4 games, as well as the Dragon Spiral Tower in the regular grass in Black and White 1. You can also get one with its hidden ability on Route 6 from one of the researchers in the little building in the Weather Institute, I think it's called. Deerling is quite interesting in that it has 4 different forms depending on the seasons. They don't really affect it too much, it's just an aesthetic changes. If you want to keep one as a certain season when the month is about to change, one trick you can use is you can put Deerling or Sawsbuck into your PC, and when the month changes over it will still be in its previous form. The only bad thing about doing this is the fact that it is a normal type and it's a physical attacker, meaning that if you are using the move Return, your happiness will be reset, so you've got to build that up again, which kind of sucks. But anyway, when looking at Deerling, you can see that it's got fairly decent stats, having respectable defences for an unevolved Pokemon, as well as relatively good physical attack and pretty good speed as well. Can also learn some good moves, but at level 34 it will evolve into Sawsbuck, which can be found in the Dragon Spiral Tower in Black 2 and White 2, and at the Dragon Spiral Tower in the Dark Grass in Black and White 1. There it will only be in its winter form, because you can only get to the Dark Grass in winter. When looking at Sawsbuck, you can see that its defences are still respectable-ish. It's got good HP with some okay defences. They're not that incredible. Special attack is unusable, but it doesn't really need it. It also has pretty good physical attack and also relatively good speed as well. Pretty zippy. You can also use Chlorophyll with Sunny Day if you wish to increase that speed, although it's not really needed because Sawsbuck does outspeed quite a lot. When considering Sawsbuck, it is a pretty damn good grass type. It also has some fantastic coverage moves, well, basically just 2, unless you're using it in competitive play where it has 3, but we'll basically learn the moves Mega Horn once it has fully evolved into Sawsbuck at level 1, as well as also Jump Kick, which is a fantastic move for it, even with the 5% accuracy loss, meaning that you can miss and lose a lot of your HP. it's definitely worth it for the coverage it provides. As well as that, it also has the obligatory return, and also Horn Leech, which is a unique move for it, which basically acts as a physical Giga Drain, which is a fantastic move for a Pokemon with relatively low defensive stats, and also one that is a grass type, so it has a ton of weaknesses. Swordsback as a whole is a great grass type. Only real competition would be Roserade, but Roserade has much, like Swordsback has much better coverage than Roserade, as well as also much better coverage than Lilligant. However, Lilligant does also have a boosting move, so you know, you have to kind of consider it that way. But Swordsback has competition, but it is a very good grass type and deserves 4 stars. Another new Pokemon you can find on Route 6 is Carablast. Carablast is a bug type and can have the ability Swarm or Shed Skin with no guard as a hidden ability. It can be found on Route 6 and 8, as well as the Cyrus City and the Moor of Isurus in Black 2 and White 2, and can be found on Route 6 and 11 in Black and White 1. When looking at its stats, you can see that it's got relatively good stats all around, really, having very good physical attack and also decent enough speed as well. To evolve it into an S-Cavalier, you're going to have to use a link trade, but you must be trading for a Shelmet. If you don't trade it for a Shelmet, it will not evolve. But if you do manage to get that and evolve it, it will evolve into an S-Cavalier, at which point it will change its type to become Bug Steel. As well as that, its Shed Skin ability will also turn into Shell Armor. When looking at S-Cavalier, you can see that its stats are pretty good, having a monstrous physical attack stat, very good defenses. HP is okay, it can take hits relatively well. However, as expected for a Steel type, it is unbelievably slow. S-Cavalier is a great Pokemon, having only one weakness, and so because of that, and also because of being a Steel type, it can take hits like nothing a lot of the time, having tons of resistances. Even like the speed doesn't really matter too much. I mean, it's always going to go last, but you can always give it like a Quick Claw or something, and it is genuinely very powerful. S-Cavalier is not really, well, I wouldn't say it's used that much. I've never used it personally, mainly because its move pool consists of pretty much nothing. It has very, very few moves to actually properly utilise, having basically a set of a Bug type move, a Steel type move, and Return. It really has nothing to go on. It is walled by other Steel types. It is walled by plenty of different types, especially ones such as Fire. The problem is that S-Cavalier is a fantastic Pokemon, but it's crippled by its terrible move pool. As well as that, its speed doesn't exactly help. So despite looking absolutely epic as a Pokemon and having some decent enough abilities, obviously No Guard is probably the best one, S-Cavalier really is not very good. However, because of its incredibly good stat arrangement in general, I will give it, say, 3.5 stars. Another new Pokemon you can find on Route 6 is Shelmet. Shelmet is a bug type and can have the abilities Hydration or Shell Armor with Overcoat as a hidden ability. It can be found on Route 6, 8 and 11, as well as the Moor of Isurus and Isurus City. In Black and White 1 it can be found on Route 8, as well as the Moor of Isurus and the Isurus City. I can't pronounce those properly anyway. When looking at Shelmet, you can see that it's got well, you can see where it's going with its stat arrangement, having very good defenses. Well, not very good, but they're pretty damn good. Its attacking stats are not very good at all, and its speed is unbelievably slow, so you want to trade it almost straight away. However, to evolve it into an Excelgor, you are going to want to have a link trade, but trade it with a Carablast. You must, the person you're trading with must trade a Carablast, and both Pokemon will evolve at the same time. If you do manage to evolve that, it will evolve into an Excelgor, at which point its Shell Armor ability will turn into Sticky Hold, and Overcoat will turn into Unburden. Excelgor stats change dramatically, having practically, well, I wouldn't say no defenses because it's pretty good on the special side, but physically it's awful. As well as having its physical attack stat is quite low as well, but its special attack is very respectable, being base 100, that's pretty good. And is also one of the fastest Pokemon of all time, I think being 3rd fastest of all Pokemon. So Excelgor is very zippy and will definitely strike first unless a quick claw is involved or priority. Excelgor as a whole is a great Pokemon. The only thing I would say is when you're doing your trade, if you're trading with yourself, for example, it's much easier to do this. But if you trade when you trade to get your Excelgor, if you're playing Black and White 2, try and trade someone who is playing Black and White 1, because essentially Excelgor's moveset is going to consist of a Bug type move, Giga Drain, and Focus Blast. That is a pretty good moveset. It's resisted by all flying and dragon types. Well, not all dragon types, but most of them are dragon flying, and as well as most poison types. However, that's a pretty good moveset. And also, if you can also utilise a hidden power such as ice or something. Yeah, but if you're playing Black and White 2, you'll want to trade it so that you can put Focus Blast on your Excelgor, because its Focus Blast is not available until after game. If you're playing Black and White 1 and you wish to get an Excelgor, you'll want to trade with Black and White 2, because Excelgor has relatively... well, it gets Bug Buzz at level 44, but until then it doesn't really have any other Bug type moves to really utilise other than Struggle Bug, which is terrible. So you will want to trade it and get yourself Signal Beam. So either way, you're going to want to trade with the other version just so that you can get a decent moveset. As a whole though, Excelgor is a fantastic Pokemon. It's well worth considering despite those relatively lacking defensive stats, even though its HP does pick it up slightly. But Excelgor is a good Pokemon and definitely deserves a spot on your team. I would give it 3.5 stars. Another new Pokemon you can find on Route 6 is Foongus. Foongus is a grass poison type and can have the ability of Effect Spore with Regenerator as a hidden ability. It can be found on Route 6 and 7, as well as the routes 5, 6 and 13 hidden grottos in Black 2 and White 2. And in Black and White 1 it can be found on Route 6, 7 and 10. When looking at its stats, you can see that other than its speed, it's fairly well rounded, having very good HP as well as relatively respectable attacking stats and decent defensive stats as well. However, as I said, its speed is completely lacking. Unfortunately, it doesn't evolve until much later, being level 39, at which point it will evolve into Amoonguss, which can be found on routes 11, 22 and 23, as well as the Route 22 Pinwheel Forest and Abundant Shrine hidden grottos in Black 2 and White 2, and in Black and White 1 it can be found on routes 10 and 11. When looking at Amoonguss's stats, you can see that its stats have pretty much increased as Foongus was having them, basically. Gaining very good HP, respectable attacking stats. They're not amazing, but they're good enough. As well as that, it's also got relatively good defenses and pathetic speed. Amoonguss is a tricky one. It is a good Pokemon, but really only in competitive play. The problem with Amoonguss is the fact that it has to compete with 2 main grass types. In Black and White 2 it has to compete with 3. Well, even 4 really. I mean, it has to compete with Roserade, definitely, because obviously they share a type. However, Roserade is much stronger, has much better defenses on the special side, and, well, kind of. Amoonguss's HP picks it up a bit more, and is much faster. As well as that, it also has a much better move pool. Amoonguss really only just has grass and poison type moves. And the only real benefit that Amoonguss has over Roserade is the fact that it has a sleep move, but the problem with that is that it doesn't get Spore until level 62-ish, so it's not really worth considering in that respect. As well as that, it's also outclassed by Lilligant, as well as Sawsbuck, which is also on this route, and even Ferrothorn later on, which like Ferrothorn is much better because it has a higher attack stat and also has much better defenses despite a lower HP stat because, well, it's a steel type, is slow as well, but it can also utilise that low speed with a Gyro Ball. But yeah, Amoonguss is not a very good Pokemon. If it evolved earlier, it would be worth considering, but the fact that you have to put up with Foongus's pathetic stats until level 39 and then even then Amoonguss's stats are not that fantastic once they evolve. It's not worth considering for in-game purposes. Competitively it's much better. Obviously the Spore is a fantastic move to its repertoire, as well as, you know, it's good offensively, decent enough with a Life Orb or something. But as for in-game, not worth using at all. I would only be able to give it about 2 stars. The final new Pokemon you can find on Route 6 is Castform. Castform is a normal / water / fire / ice type Pokemon, and can be found on Route 6, but only in the Shaken Grass and only 5% of the time, so this Pokemon is a tough Pokemon to find. It can have the ability Forecast, which basically means that as soon as the weather changes, with the exception of Sandstorm, its form will change and also change type. When looking at its stats, you can see that they're completely even, which is not great because out of those stats, really the only one that's respectable is Speed. Speed is a 70 Speed stat is okay, but the rest of its stats are really not that fantastic. Castform is a decent Pokemon. It does take some getting used to as a Pokemon, just because it obviously requires a lot of work to use. What I personally like to do is, with a Castform, it is very nice to use. I personally would put a set on it where you utilise two different weather moves, as well as the move Weather Ball, which it's not exactly a unique move, but Castform utilises it much better than most Pokemon. And as well as that, it will also you could also teach it a move such as Thunder. Or Thunderbolt if you don't feel like taking the risk, but I would personally put a set on it such as Rain Dance, Sunny Day, Weather Ball and Thunder. Now what this would do is that you wouldn't basically be using its normal type form, and just be utilising its water and fire types, or you could always just utilise water and ice. Water is generally the best one to use, and then you could always just use fire or ice depending on preference and depending on what your other team is like. But the reason why this set is so good is because of Weather Ball. When a weather move is up, including Sandstorm, but Sandstorm doesn't gain any same type of attack bonus, but basically once it changes its form, Weather Ball will increase to 100 power, and that would happen to any Pokemon when a weather move is up. And depending on what weather move is used, it'll either be water, fire, ice or rock if you've got Sandstorm up. As well as that, because Castform will also change form, with the exception of Sandstorm, it will also gain Stab on the move, increasing that power to 150 power, which is very high. And as well as that, you can also use some extra boosts, such as like a plate or something, or like a Mystic Water or something. I'm not sure how weather works. I would assume that you would also get a weather bonus if you're using water and fire. Obviously you don't get that with ice or rock, but I'm pretty sure you would get that with water and fire. I'm not 100% on that, so you can quote me on it in the comments if that is wrong. But yeah, with that set, Castform can do a lot of damage, and then adding to the Thunder, it can also muscle past other water types if you wish to have that kind of thing. So basically you've only got 2 attacking moves, but they're functioning as 3. And also later on when you get the TMs for the weather moves, which I think you pick up in the next city, you can just change them around however you want, and depending on what fight you're going into, you can just change them to whatever you prefer. So Castform is a very adaptable Pokemon and is worth using. It's not that strong, it does take a lot of setting up, but some people do like that and some people don't. So depending on what your preferences are, Castform is a good Pokemon and it's well worth considering despite its low stats. And because of its adaptability, I will give it 3 stars. Alright, so Pokemon reviews covered. So here we are on one of the Route 6 hidden grottos. There are actually 2 of them. Don't have anything special going on here, but in this particular hidden grotto you can find Fungus with Regenerator, Woobat with Simple, which is a good one to get, as well as Dunsparce with Rattled. So feel free to pick yourself up one of those if you so desire. You can also get Woobat on the in the second hidden grotto just coming up. You do need a Pokemon with Surf if you wish to get into that one though. Pouring Rain, fighting Pokemon. So I assume you have some sort of water type Pokemon, or okay, Cast Form, that makes sense. Alright, Cast Form, let's do this. Let us do this. Alright, lead with Krusty Krab, why the heck not? Let's go for a Bug Bite. Powder Snow. Whatever. Such a long animation for such a useless attack. Right, so let's go for a Rock Slide. And a Rain Dance. Okay, well that figures considering your opening speech. Alright, so let's go for another. Alright, so it's going to change into its water type form. Its rainy form or whatever. Let's go for another Bug Bite just because it's 100% accurate. Another Powder Snow. How useful? Not really. Another Bug Bite. Let's get this thing out of here. Maybe level up. Yeah, we do. Good. Up to level 32. Ah, hear the sad melody of a total defeat. Total defeat. Alright, so I think we're going to put Ignite up to front. Why not? And let's move on. What do we have here? A Swadloon. Joy. Something I don't really need to be seeing right now. It's a very boring Pokemon. It's not even a new one. And what do we have here? I need to research the experience points of Pokemon for my homework assignment. Well, why are you outside then? Hop to it. Alright, Mara, what do you have? A Deerling. Alright. Normal grass type. New Pokemon on this route. Going to be seeing plenty of them on this route. All of the scientists seem to, well, they like to study why Deerling changes form, I guess. Anyway, so we have a Deerling there, and also a Shelmet, which is another new Pokemon you can find on this route. Bug type. Nothing too special until it evolves, though. Alright, it's not fair to use moves I wasn't expecting. Well, what moves were you expecting? Ones to make me lose? Well, I'm afraid I don't use those moves. Anyway, so there's an Elixir right here, and also... oh, whoa! We're being ambushed by a Fungus! Another new Pokemon you can find on this route. Respectable level, actually. Level 29. However, once again, not a good Pokemon, so... not worth using. Plenty of other grass types you could use at this point. Of course, you just had to do that. Alright, so I don't really even know why I took that out, but anyway, moving on. Let's see, do we have anything special going on here in terms of healing items? No, we don't. Oh, actually, I have some Castelia cones, but I can't bother to use it right now. Oh, hello, Charon. Oh, Sean, can you come with me for a moment? Fine, you're just dragging me along. Why not? What is this place? Whoa, there's a lot of dealing in here. No one really talks about it, but the record shows that there was a sudden drop in temperature near Lacunosa town. It was only for a moment, but it went down as low as minus 58 degrees Fahrenheit. Wow. Not only that, but similar temperatures were recorded around Castelia City and Driftvale City. Well, I didn't get frozen. On top of that, that incident with Team Plasma. I think this needs some investigation before things go bad. I hate cold weather though. I'll give you this. It's a hidden machine that contains surf. With this, please go to different places and check what's going on. Let one of your Pokemon learn surf and you can travel across the water. So he will give you HM3 for surf, which is a fantastic move. Sorry to have slowed you down. Some strange things may be happening, so be careful on your journey. Alright, so I always do a surf episode on all of my all of my LPs. However, oh hello, gone a bit too far there. However, on this LP, I'm not going to do one straight away. I'm going to wait until after I have done the Mistralton Gym. You can use surf right away, and so we will be using it on this route. But I won't be covering a surf route for quite a while, just because I don't really need to, as such, because there's quite a lot to cover, and I would rather get the next gym out of the way first, so we have a bit of a break. Anyway, so one extra thing, only in Black 2 and White 2, if you talk to this guy, he will give you a rather rare dealing. Now, I don't have enough space, but it is a dealing with the Serene Grace hidden ability, which is kind of useful. It's actually not really very useful at all. You're much better off if you're using a dealing. Nice. If you want to use a dealing, PP up there, across the water. Oh, I should put my dowsing machine on. Oh, there's something else here. A big mushroom. Yeah, so as I was saying, if you wish to get yourself a dealing, it's much better to have Sap Sipper, just because it gives you an immunity. And also gives you an attack boost, which is kind of nice. And it also works on moves that aren't necessarily... well, they aren't just attacking moves, like any grass-type moves. So like things like Stun Spore and Sleep Powder are very nice moves to block. Just going to head further south just so we can pick up that item that we saw, and then we will head back onto the main route. I should really be using Repel, but you know. Alright, so anyway, so I haven't really spoken or seen any of you for quite a while, so you know, leave a comment in the section below how you've been doing. Recently I've been kind of, well, decent enough. Tired a lot. It's fair to say that in the UK at the moment it's been, well, not all over, but in the south where I live it's been super hot, super hot. Like in my room it gets as high as like 32 degrees Celsius, which is like 88 Fahrenheit, I think, something like that. I'm not really good with conversions, but it's something like that. Say if you live in the US or whatever. But like my ideal temperature is like 19 Celsius, which is kind of like 66 Fahrenheit, I think, something like that. That's my kind of ideal temperature. I don't mind if it's sunny, just not that hot. I much prefer being in winter, just because, you know, it's easier to make yourself warmer when it's cold than to struggle to make yourself cool when it's hot, if you know what I mean. But yeah, it's been fairly unbearable lately, so been having to deal with all of that. But yeah, I mean, it's not been too bad. Just been tiring. It's effort to do things when it's this hot. Anyway, so there are a lot of scientists around here who all use X items on their Pokemon. Some of them useful for them, some of them don't really do anything. Like they'll use Defendings. This one's using a special. Not going to be too much use, considering I'm just going to take it out in one shot anyway. Bye bye, Shelmet. Upgrade level 32, woohoo! And a Carablast, another new Pokemon you can find on this route. Send out a Hieroglyph, the only one who isn't level 32. Little natty spanner thing. I don't even. What even is Carablast? I don't even know. It's this weird bug thing. Anyway, so take the Carablast now. So yeah, I mean, I don't know what my comment question for today is going to be, but something along the lines of how you've been doing generally. Because I guess I don't really interact with many of my viewers as much as I'd hope to. I like to do the comment questions just because it, you know, gets things moving, I guess, in the interaction stage. It's difficult to find things to interact with when you're playing something like this. I mean, I guess some of the things are like nicknaming Pokemon, like suggestions for nicknames, which I did in my Emerald LP. Unfortunately, I'd already decided most of my... I think she was just talking about Chair, and you can phone him to ask about abilities if you're unsure about one. Something like that. Oh god, another fungus. But yeah, I mean, I don't really interact with many of you very much. I will actually... I didn't really want to do this, but I think a nice idea would be if you kind of wanted to ask some questions or whatever, then you could always add me on Skype. I can put my Skype in the description. I don't really I mean, once I get like a bigger following kind of thing, I'm leading with the wrong Pokemon. I will actually make a Facebook page. I don't really use Twitter. So that's something that I'm not likely to ever make. I mean, I might do, but I doubt it. I'm much more familiar with Facebook, but we'll see, we'll see. Carablast, lovely. We want hieroglyph out front. So yeah, I mean, this is just kind of a lazy episode. Few Pokemon reviews here and there. We've got a lot of Pokemon reviews coming up for the next episode though, so do be prepared for that, rather. Well wait, I've got to analyse this defeat. I'm going. Forget it. I'm gone. I need repels. Where was I going with that? I don't know. Something along the lines of that. I'm getting a little kind of wound up with the fact that I haven't completed some of these LPs already. I mean, I would obviously have expected that I wouldn't have completed Black 2 yet, because Black 2 is a massive LP. But I want to finish Emerald just because I want to kind of start something a little different. I think I mentioned this before, but I do actually want to do an LP kind of like a Nuzlocke, basically. I mean, leave comments below. Let me know what you think about me doing a Nuzlocke, because I mean, I've never really done one before. I did one as a little, like a bit of a practice run, and it's fair to say that I got fairly wound up. I'm leading with the wrong Pokemon again. It's fair to say that I got fairly wound up on numerous occasions. I definitely mentioned this before, because I remember saying something along the lines of I didn't use, obviously, but I managed to get myself a Timber, as well as also a Dwebble later on, and they worked amazingly. I mean, they were pretty much well, one of them was male and one of them was female, and they pretty much functioned as a couple. They were fantastic Pokemon together. They worked so well. It was always a bit risky using Shell Smash, but it was amazing how great they were together, and they managed to survive until the very end, which was great. I still have that file, actually. I mean, but yeah, I mean, I do want to do a Nuzlocke. I do like Nuzlocks. I think they're kind of fun. Although the only thing is, I don't know what kind of game to play. I'm thinking more of a Johto game, but I'm not sure which one. Anyway, so we're being ambushed here by something. Whoa! Whoa! It's a Cobalion! What are you doing here? Oh, well, you've gone. Oh, it's you. Rude. That Pokémon. It's the legendary Pokémon called Cobalion. I told you this story the other day, right? Oh, Cobalion, what a noble presence. They say the three Pokémon, Cobalion, Virizion and Terrakion, fought against people to protect Pokémon from the war those people started. When people fight, there's no peace for Pokémon either. The three legends learned that the deeds of humans could lead to dire consequences for their world. But why did it show up in front of people? Is it patrolling the Unova region to protect Pokémon it fears because it fears for their safety after the commotion caused by Team Plasma 2 years ago? Or does it sense a new problem? Unforgivable. So the reach of Ghetsis' ambition and malice is growing even wider and warping the lives of all it touches. Did Cobalion appear in front of you merely by accident, or to plead with you to solve a problem? Unlike Lord N, I don't have the ability to understand the minds of Pokemon. Therefore, I don't know what that Pokemon is thinking. But if you can befriend Cobalion, it will be a great asset to you on your journey. Well, that's something we may be doing in the future. Not to spoil too much, but anyway. Chargestone Cave is great. The Ferroseed I met here, I thought that said there. The Ferroseed I met here was absolutely adorable. That completely butchered that sentence. I don't like that pronunciation of Ferroseed. In fact, actually, I'm just going to be like, I know it's Ferroseed and Ferrothorn, but it just sounds weird, so I'm just going to call them Ferroseed and Ferrothorn, just like I think most people do. Anyway, so you can heal with that kind of reddish-haired woman over there, and if you speak to her daughter, I guess, she'll give you a shiny stone, and she will talk about how when she gave her Minccino one, it evolved, which is good because if you have yourself a Minccino, then you'll want to evolve it. And also take it back to Driftveil, just so you can pick yourself up. Well, I would assume you would have Tail Slap at this point. I don't know what level Minccino learns it, but I think it's fairly early on. But also you'll want to be picking up Rock Blast and Bullet Seed, two fantastic moves for it. Nature! And also, if you, I don't remember also what level Minccino learns Wake Up Slap, but if you are playing Black and White 1, or you just pick one that has Technician, you will want Wake Up Slap. And once it has evolved into Cinccino, it won't be able to learn it anymore, so make sure that you get it before you evolve it. Or else if you're just using a Skill Link one in Black 2 and White 2, then you've got no problems, you can just evolve it straight away. Anyway, so this guy here, Richard, has a Whirlipede and a Fungus. Nothing too special. Take him out with your best Psychic or Flying type moves, or Fire. So Hieroglyph is well matched for this one. Anyway, Nature! Bit obsessive here. If I use this, will my Pokemon also become energetic? Well, if they were poisoned, they will. When we're surrounded by green, we feel more energetic, don't you think? Thank you, Mother Nature. I love you. Yeah, so slightly obsessive over there, but anyway. So crossing over here, you can, if you turn on your dowsing machine, oh, actually that's in Black and White 1, sorry. You can find the TM56 for Fling right here, which is not a very good move at all, and it's not worth ever using. Sorry. But yeah, it's really not ever worth using. There are a couple of kind of gimmicky strategies you can use in competitive play, but generally it's not worth using at all. Here is the second hidden grotto on the route. Here you can find yourself Fungus with Regenerator, and of course Woobat with Simple, who are both on this route. And you can also find yourself a Nose Path with Sand Force. Oh, looks like we have a Fungus. I'm not going to catch it, but whatever. Unless it's a female. Nope, it's not. But yeah, Nose Pass is interesting. Haven't found a Nose Pass yet, but they will be available in Chargestone Cave, which is going to be coming up on the next episode. So, over here is Mr. Alton Cave, but I think we'll either cover that in the Surf episode or in the episode after the Surf episode, depending on how we go. But yeah, we'll see. Alright, so, we don't really have too much to cover left on this episode now, since we've made our way through the entire route. Here's a new Pokemon you can find while surfing, Basculin. I will cover all surfing Pokemon you can find on the Surf episode, just, you know, to make it easier. And something else. Great. Probably another Basculin. Oh, a Marill. Cool. Not too fond of Marill, but anyway. Let's move on. Gotta go end the episode. Oh, come on. Just eking this out. Hello, Marill. I ran away from the last one. What makes you think I want you? I don't have a water type yet, but I'm going to be getting one. One that actually isn't that great, but I've hyped it up enough, to be honest. I did this in my Emerald LP. Anyway, so there's a hidden protein in that spot right there. We can just use a dowsing machine. Here is Chargestone Cave, but obviously we've got to be entering it. So, also one quick thing to note is I did plan to have Hieroglyph at level 33 for the next episode, because that's the level that Hieroglyph will be at the next episode. But unfortunately I haven't done that, so just expect the level inconsistency. However, there shouldn't be any more level inconsistencies from here on out. Fingers crossed. Little word of warning on the next episode, there are some of the syncing issues, just because, you know, I've said that. They're not too bad though, they do kind of fade in and out throughout the episode, but it's not too bad. I have checked over the footage. If it is too bad, I will scrap it and re-record, but I don't think it is, so it should be fine. Anyway, so I rambled on enough, so I will see you on the next episode. So until then, I'll see you next time, guys.